So 3 weeks into Japan, I get invited to a blind group date. And here's that story. So I made a new friend in my outings. And he was like, okay, this guy's fully Japanese. And when we first met, we were speaking I was trying to speak broken Japanese to him. And he was speaking broken English. And somehow we made it work, and I made a real good connection. So after meeting this guy at this, I think it was some sort of pub or something in Shinjuku, we go our separate ways, we exchange numbers before we do. And then a week later, he texts me, he says, hey man, do you want to go to this dinner that I'm throwing with me and my friends? And I said, yeah, sure. Like me being excited about the prospect of having a Japanese friend, I was like, yeah, cool. Now in hindsight, I should have seen that there was, some signs that it could have been more than just a normal dinner. So first of all, he said, okay, this is going to be the price that everyone has to pay, and it was pretty expensive. It was like, what, like 50? No. Yeah, it was 5,000 yen. So I was like, okay, that's a lot. But then also he said something about there being I think it was a even gender split, right? So it's even gender split. So there's going to be 4 guys and 4 girls. I was just like, oh, okay. It was just some normal sort of, it's a big party. That's pretty cool. And then it was kind of like a last minute thing. Like he kind of not roped me into it, but he just suggested me. Because like I was on his mind, basically. He was like, oh, another guy that could be interesting to invite last minute. So I'm like, sure, okay, cool. I should have read more into that it could have been something more than dinner. But I was like, okay, screw it. Let's just go. I say yes, I lock it in, and then we go, right? So it's the day of the event now. And throughout this entire time, I didn't really think much of it. It was really when I met up and like in the station, that's when I was just like, wait, is this gonna be something else? I don't know. So I meet this guy out the east exit of Shinjuku Station, a big station, first time there. It was just like, wow, lots of people, already overwhelmed. And I was like, all right, bet, okay. So I meet him, and while we're waiting for the other 2 guys to show up, we were exchanging some polite information and pleasantries, and he hits me with this question. He goes, 合コン知ってますか? And I was like, I understood immediately, and I was like, is that the blind group date thing that you guys do here? Like here in Japan? And he was like, what the frick, bro? That's crazy. Immediately, I start going into a panic. I'm just like, okay, my head is doing a flip. Like, what do I do? Like, I'm gonna be the only foreigner there. Because I asked him, I said, hey man, like, am I the only, like, non-Japanese person that you invited? And he goes, and I was like, this guy, man. And I was actively freaking out. I was spiraling. I was like, okay, I'm the only foreigner there. And then I'm supposed to speak Japanese. Like, I speak a little bit. Like, I'm still learning. I speak a little bit. But, like, I'm supposed to talk to the girls and to the guys? Like, what's gonna happen? This is crazy. And before I could think anymore, the 2 guys who were also invited then showed up. Now, it was lucky that they're very nice, very, very cool people, but they didn't speak a lick of English. So I was like, okay, this bodes well. So anyway, we meet up, we sort of exchange pleasantries, and we're like, okay, let's go to the place. So we're walking through. It's a short walk in and around the Shinjuku area, like 4 or 5 minutes walk. And then we stop in front of this like what do you call it? Like an elevator, right? And it's like, where's the restaurant? And he's like, let's just go up. So we go into the elevator. It's pretty cramped. It's pretty small. Everything in Japan is pretty small, right? Okay, cool. So we go up. The guy hits like the 7th floor, and I'm waiting. It's kind of awkward because no one's saying anything. But then the bell rings, ping, and then the doors open, and it was like, wow, this is a fancy, fancy restaurant. Like, immediately as you open the door, you get greeted with like this sprawling view of the Shinjuku urban landscape. And it was nighttime too, so you could like, it was all lights. It was like, wow, off a movie or something. It was really cool. And so that you could tell like there was some, biker. That's pretty cool. I'm in the park right now, and it's like a really good day, so great. Anyway, so we find our seat, right? And I could tell there was like specific like window seats for like couples and stuff. It was awesome. There was jazz music, slight in the background, so like it was really good ambiance. You could smell the food, like not like it's a bad smell, but it was like nice. You could smell it, the food was cooking, so you could hear the subtle sounds of the kitchen in the background. And so there was a bunch of couple seating, and then there was like long tables, right, that could sit upwards of like 10 or so people. So we go and we find our seat. So my friend confirms a reservation with the person, and then she's like, "Okay, cool. Here's your table." So I sit down, and we're just chatting, like trying to warm up kind of thing. I was doing my best to try and speak to them in Japanese. It wasn't working, bro. It was like one-word answers kind of thing. It was super awkward, but it was okay. And then my friend, who's sitting next to me. So the way it is, it's me and my friend, and then the two other guys, like here, right? So we're all in a line, and now we're just waiting for the girls to show up, right? And so my friend somehow senses my like tenseness and my nervousness, and he goes to me in broken English. He goes, "Don't worry, I will try and translate for you whenever possible." And I was like, "Thanks, man." But like in my head, I was just like, "Dude, I feel like a burden, bro. Like, oop, here's the bike again." So cool, man. Anyway, I feel like a burden, right? Because I'm getting this guy who I barely know, like, to translate for me, and is it gonna sound weird or look weird or anything? And before I could spiral even more, the girls then walked in. Like, I heard the bell of the elevator door open, bing, and it opens, and they walk in, 4 of them, and I was like, okay, like, it is like do or die. Like, it's time to do. And damn, they're very attractive, very, 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 very beautiful women. And they sat down. They were all nice. They're all smiles and saying hello, and we exchange, a little bit of small talk. And then my friend says, okay, like claps his hands. He goes like this, and he's like, okay, it's time for the jiko shokai, which is like introductions or self-introductions. And I was like, crap, by the way that I'm seated, I'm like third. This is going to be so awkward. So they do it, and it sounds pretty good. And when it comes to my turn, I pretty much do the most basic self-introduction, like, known to man. It was like my name, where I came from, and the fact that I'm studying here as a student, right? And then that was like my 10 seconds of like, oh, everyone's looking at me. And then they kept going, right? And so it was cool. Before we really got started, the like entrees came, and wow, the food was amazing. It was like pizza and like chips and like salad and stuff. I was just like, this is cool. And also it was like a nomi hodai, which was like all you can drink, so you could order as much as you want, because it's like part of what you were gonna pay for, right? So anyway, very cool. And immediately after like things started, at the beginning it was just awkwardness, like straight awkwardness. I was there like a statue, bro. Like the only movements I was doing was just like drinking and trying to like, sip my drink, because they were speaking Japanese at like lightning speeds, bro. It was insane. It was awkward, and I was just like, what am I even doing here? I had like a surreal moment of that, and I was like, what am I doing? But anyway, we go, and my friend tries to translate, and it's like, okay, it's going okay, more awkwardness. And then at some point, I was just like to myself, you know what? This is supposed to be a fun thing. It's supposed to be something that I'm supposed to enjoy. And I can't do that right now if I'm all in up my head. So I was just like, okay, mindset shift. I'm just gonna have fun with it. I am so deep in so deep in this, and also so out of my element. I'm like, I might as well have some fun with it and see where it goes, right? So then after that, I decided to try and get into the conversation. Just not shout, but like blurt out random things in response to the topic they were talking about. Because sometimes I could understand what they're speaking about, and other times I couldn't. So when I did understand, I'm like, oh, I would like just blurt out something. And they were like, oh yeah, cool, it's like this. And once everybody was, starting to get a little bit more loose with the drinks, it was a bit easier to talk. So I was like, all right, bet, cool. And then my worry about about being a burden to my friend actually turned out to be a good thing, because whenever they would ask me a question, the girls especially would ask me a question, and I would stare at them like blankly, like I didn't know what they were saying. I would turn to my friend and be like, hey man, like what do they say? And then he would like act as this translator, and then like I would say something to him in English and he would translate it back and it would go straight to them. And it became this sort of funny like 1-2 person act, and I think the girls really liked it, and the guys really liked it too. Like one of the girls said something about like, oh, this is omoshiroi, I think was the word that she used. So like, oh, it's just fun. And yes, after that, the first couple of like hour or so, we were the same people, like talking to the same people, and then the boys had to switch. So we switched, and so we could talk to the other two. Now the other two, the first pair was okay because there was somebody who spoke like English as well, like she wanted to practice English, and so she was practicing English, and then we were able to have a conversation at least. But the other two, not so much. So I had to like rely on my 1-2 person act buddy and also my broken Japanese to get through. But I think more than anything, it was the lesson of like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Like I know I hear it all the time, but that in that moment clicked for me. I was just like, yeah, you're friggin' right. Like it was about how I said it. So like instead of relying mostly on my words and stuff, I relied on like my body language, my tone of voice, my smile, which by the way absolutely killed it, because one of the girls said like just really loudly, it made everybody stop at a table, like, Alonzo, like he has a cute smile in her Japanese accent, cutest smile. I'm just like, okay, I don't know if that's like something like a compliment, but I'm gonna take it as a compliment. So anyway, after I adopted that mindset of like, you know what, I'm just gonna have fun with it, I'm just gonna go. Man, was it really, really fun. We had a really, really good time. And afterwards, there was no pressure to like exchange, I like to go on, like, there was no romantic thing, basically. It was literally just a drinking party. So I thought, because I had built it up in my head as this like, oh, you have to, get with a girl or whatever it is. No, it's not like that. Literally all it is just a drinking party, just to get to know each other. And so afterwards, we wrapped up the dinner. It was a nice dinner. And we go, all right, cool. We exchange line details, like we make a group chat there. I have no idea if the group's gonna meet up. We haven't met up since, so I don't know. But I don't think that really matters. It was more about being put in that crazy, crazy situation where I was basically the underdog, and still being able to have fun, still being able to get something out of it and make some connections. Actually, while we were walking to the station, my friend goes, like my friend who was translating was like worried for me like a little bit, actually a lot. He said like, I was worried that you weren't gonna have fun, Alonzo. And I was just like, what? Are you kidding me? Of course I had fun. It was awesome. And so he walked away happy because he thinks it's a success, and it was. I walked away happy. Everyone walked away happy. So yeah, 3 weeks in Japan, and I get invited to a group date. Crazy.